What's going on, guys? I'm Kolby, this is Sean, and today we're talking about the TRX series of LED light bars. Sean, what is TRX?
Great question. So in early 2016, TOMAR developed the TRX line. What that stands for is TOMAR Rugged Extreme, and I think that accurately depicts what this bar is capable of. TOMAR was founded on industrial products, right? Explosion-proof lighting. We ventured into the emergency market shortly thereafter, while incorporating those same materials and processes to make them very durable and reliable. The purpose of this bar was for official use, right? So we have our emergency line of products, our industrial line of products, and we wanted to kind of merge those two together to develop a bar that would handle the most extreme applications.
So these applications can include wildland firefighting operations that need a light bar that can provide both warning but also illumination in rugged terrain. We've even incorporated IR modules into these bars for military and government defense for when those operations require infrared lighting.
What inspired us to start producing these for off-road enthusiasts, people who like to go out, have fun, mount them on their trucks, on their UTVs? What kind of inspired that?
Off-roaders, or those people that like to have the hobbies or like to have fun, want a light bar that is going to be able to withstand the time that they're out on the trail or out in the middle of nowhere, trying to get that scene illumination, right? So when we developed these bars, initially for the government end users or the government customers, we said, hey, let's develop a line that would also work for those customers that want those extreme lighting circumstances as well. There's actually several variants for this bar itself. You could have a single color, white, or you can have dual color overrides. So you have your white and override to full amber, which is an excellent benefit. Not only are you getting essentially two light bars in one, but sometimes when you're out in the middle of nowhere, the white is going to be blinding in certain situations like dust and fog, and you can flip of a switch and it overrides to your amber to break through those light particles and see further ahead.
In the case for government agencies, we incorporated another benefit of infrared that gives the TRX the ability to go from the white light output to the 940 nanometer IR.
The great thing about these is the modularity, or the modules that are consistent in this, right? So as you can see, each of these modules are held in place by different brackets. So not only does that give you a little bit of customization during your ordering process, but if you want spot modules on the end or flood modules in the middle, whatever you would see fit for your certain application, that's definitely doable. But at the same time, each of these modules are independently controlled. Okay. The great thing about this is, say you're on the trail and a tree branch or a rock hits it and potentially damages one of these things, the rest of the light bar is going to work. But the great benefit about this is you don't have to buy another light bar.
Oh, really?
Right? So you go on tomar.com, buy a module that fits your application, and simple plug and play, and you're back on the road.
Really? So just a module just like this, that's all you do, is we just unscrew that, plug that in, and then we're good to go.
Yeah, so as you can see, when we talk about the modules themselves, on the back is a quick disconnect, and that gives us the ability to make this water resistant, right?
Okay.
So not only is this bar water resistant, but the modules, we incorporate hermetic sealing, which is a linear vibration welding process. This eliminates the need for gaskets and rubber gaskets, right? Mm-hmm. The problem that we have experienced in especially the off-road industry or in these harsh environments is once your rubber gasket fails from heat or the environment itself, you don't have a water resistant module anymore. So we eliminated the rubber gaskets to get a longer lifetime and performance out of these.
The light bar, the aluminum housing, everything is strong. It's going to withstand the test of time. But I have a feeling that this is where the magic happens.
Yeah, so as we go farther in depth into the technology that's within the modules, you'll see up here on this light bar, you start with the filters themselves. So you have flood, and then it goes to spot depending on your application you need it used for, right? When we go into the internals of each of these modules, you'll see that a lot of our proprietariness comes from the CVOs, and we call that clear vision optics. And the purpose of this is to disseminate light to where it needs to be and not just shine all over, right?
Not just throw up light.
These CVOs are a great benefit when it comes to lighting your scene, but also when you're off-road and you're having fun with your friends, being able to effectively locate different obstacles and seeing where you need to go is a great benefit with these.
You know, you go off-roading, I go off-roading, you know, having that confidence at night is a game changer. Like, you're not just going to run your regular just headlights out there and you don't know, you know, what's 200 feet in front of you. That's the scariest thing you could probably do. So I'm, you know, looking at the table right here. Looks like we have like a 3-inch, a 6-inch, different lengths. You know, how many lengths and how many configurations do we have for our light bars that are available on our website?
Yeah, so as you can see, this is our 3-inch. These are great for applications that have space that are limited, right? So personally, I use these as 8-pillars lighting for my truck when we go off-road. And then as you see over here on our display, it goes up to 6 inches and 10 inches, but we go all the way up to 60 inches if you have an application that needs that type of fitment, right? Once you get into the 6-inch and 10-inch, the great thing about this is now you have a dual function bar. If you're out in the middle of nowhere, you need that white light. Say dust kicks up or rain, fog, or whatever the case may be gets in front of you, that white light is actually hitting off those particles and blinding your vision in a sense so you can't see farther through, right? So what we've incorporated is dual mode or dual lighting features for these TRX bars. So as you get into 6-inch, 10-inch, and all the way up to 60-inch, we have that capability from going to white and overriding to your amber bar. So you have essentially 2 bars in one.
Just recently, we added another option, which we call the TRX LRAC. This stands for Long Range Amber Clear. Purpose of this is to incorporate our dual color amber white modules, but adding a long range amber tinted spotlight. This provides our drivers dedicated amber spots to further cut down on the eye strain, but see farther ahead in dusty, foggy, or raining conditions.
What exactly is this? Because this is obviously not just your standard straight light bar. This has a little bit of an angle to it. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so especially in the off-road industry, we've seen some other aftermarket bumpers come into play where they have a curved surface. Not only does it look cool, but some of it is performance-based, right? So we wanted to incorporate the TOMAR TRX line of products into the curved features. So this is called our El Toro bar, and this is just a housing, as you can see, but it has the ability to adjust to the bar itself to make it flush and contour with the application you're using it for.
One thing that I did notice is there's some channels on here, and obviously, you know, you have your aluminum heat sink on the back that prolongs the life of it.
Back of this and the whole bar itself is a heat sink to reduce the heat from the LEDs emitting those lights, right? But the great thing about one of these bars is on the bottom here, you can actually see a channel that runs the full length of the bar. So when it comes to mounting solutions or trying to make placement of this bar, you could actually use it as a flush mount, whether you have, you know, a mounting point or a different bracket that's customized to your vehicle to actually flush mount this to the bracket itself.
Gotcha. So you could essentially just use like a 1/4-inch hex and mount that on, you know, your vehicle, work truck, whatever. And then all of our LED light bars do come with our standard 90-degree brackets.
Yeah, so these are our standard feet, 90 degree, as you can see on this 3-inch here. So standard, no extra cost included. However, we do offer different types of standard mounting solutions on our website.
Gotcha. This SVC off-road bumper back here, you know, this has one of our light bars on it, right?
Yes, as you can see, these bars can be equipped on different OEM bumpers like SVC. There are also other options available where you can install the TRX bars behind the grille for a more discreet or uniform look. This bar we're talking about specifically today is the 30-inch LRAC or the Long Range Amber Clear. You have these situations all the time, especially in the off-road industry, of choosing, you know, amber and or white. This bar does both. So you get your amber, you get your white.
but there's no customization that needs to be had. It sits perfectly within the SVC off-road bumper.
Yeah, it follows the body lines. It looks good. Pretty much it's a turnkey solution for those off-roaders that want to put a little bit of extra protection on the front of their vehicles. One of the kind of biggest questions that I feel like we need to have answered is like, how hard is it to configure a light bar or install it? You know, what is the process? And you know, looks like we have a little bit of a setup here. You want to run through that?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we have here in front of us is a 20-inch guard bar. It's used kind of as a chase bar for some vehicle applications, right? So what we're mimicking over here is your 12-volt battery source. So you connect it to your battery on your vehicle. And then in here is your control harness cable, right? And so as we continue to power this up, you'll see that each wire makes a different function for the bar. So this one specifically has stop, turn, tail, and then your chase bar, which is great for applications when you're cruising pretty fast down the road or the dirt road, and you need whoever's following you to get identification of where you're at.
With TRX's solid state internal controller that we have built into these light bars, I mean, in theory, somebody could just touch the two wires in their cab and it would start. But, you know, obviously a switch, a trigger, any of those standard, you know, on-off switches that are automotive specific will turn these light bars on and off as long as you're connected to your vehicle's battery.
So with TRX's solid state internal controller, the need for mechanical external relays is eliminated. The great thing, like you mentioned, is there's no proprietary switches that comes with these TRX bars. So if you have rocker switches or you're running another switch panel, all you got to do is control or plug your control wires into that panel and you'll be good.
Gotcha. So like on your Raptor, you had the upfitter switches. I remember that from Baja. So that's just all you would need essentially to run light bars in your vehicle. You know, other people, they have to get like a aftermarket SSD or like external switch panel to turn their lights on and off. With this system and internally relayed, you don't have to utilize that. It's all just turnkey.
Yeah, we try to make it as easy as possible when it comes to installation and use. So whatever you have currently, or if you need to buy something that's not proprietary to us, whatever fits your application is great.
Gotcha. And what's the amp draw? What's the technical?
Because it's internally relayed, it's actually milliamps, and so there's no large amp draw when it comes to your control wires.
Okay.
And that's why it's a great benefit, especially with these TRX lines, is you don't have to worry about the external relay and making sure all the amp draws and power is consistent with where you're trying to go.
So you don't have to be a master electrician to wire up one of our light bars.
Correct. Yeah.
Gotcha. What support do we have out there for our customers that want to purchase a TRX Series light bar?
Yeah, so head on over to TOMAR.com to our off-road section. And for our retail customers, we offer a limited lifetime warranty. Ever have any issues with the frame or the modules themselves, that's a hassle-free. Contact our customer service and we'll be happy to take care of you.
Awesome.